Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm going to be giving you part 3 of what if Naruto was transported to the Justice League world. Remember to get this one to 300 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Trained by all the greats at a young age over on Anime King, and enjoy that guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Animaking family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And yeah, without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So the last time we left off, Naruto was on a planet, a peaceful planet out of the sectors, where he released all the toxin that was inside of him. After drawing upon nature engine on some of the worlds, toxin and everything that was in the air draw inside his body as well. So he had to come here some of the time to just release it, because it was bad, and it was bad for his system. As he was there, he got a call, as it was a rat humanoid creature. He was a bookie broker, as he gave out missions, and he had a mission for Naruto. Well, two missions that cover one. After a beaten back and front, Naruto decided to take it, as he told Kurama that they're going back to Earth. As Naruto made his way, as Diana was currently talking towards a princess. Vandal Savage had married her, but he was just using her, but she didn't see that way. She thought that he wasn't a bad guy, as Diana tried to warn her, but the princess did not listen, as Diana was currently shackled up as she could not move. Batman was there as well, but all of them fell asleep. The guards, including Batman. Naruto was not as good with genjutsu, so if someone had magic or magic resistance, it wouldn't exactly affect them, but Batman ended up falling asleep. As Naruto spoke to Diana, she wondered what he was doing here, as he told her he had a job to do. Kurama then hopped off his shoulder, as he was going to wait till Naruto was finished and then he was going to free her. As Naruto said that Kurama really liked her, so he made his way. As Vandal Savage guard tried to attack him, he quickly sliced him into half. As Naruto attacked Vandal Savage and punched a hole right through the man. After hearing about the deeds that he did, this man was really despicable. But Vandal just get back up, as he was immortal. So Naruto sliced his head off and sealed it away in a separate seal. As he then went away as Batman, and Wonder Woman came there. As Batman had woken up after Naruto had left the place. As Batman was furious that Naruto could simply just walk in and assassinate someone even though Vandal Savage was a scum. Still, to just walk in like that, what if he was signed to kill the president? Yes, this was bad, really bad, as they made their way back to the ship. As Naruto hadn't left Earth yet, as he was having some ramen, to his surprise, the same girl that he was supposed to return back to her appearance came crashing on Earth, as it was Starfire. As Naruto made his way out there, as she was destroying everything around, Beast Boy, Cyborg, and Robin and the others were there as well, including Raven. As Naruto came there, as he placed her under genjutsu, but then the Justice League arrived, as they told him to let her go. But Naruto warned them to back off, or they're going to regret it. But Superman and the others, including Batman, all of them stepped forward. But then the ship arrived, of the alien race that want to kidnap Starfire. So, Naruto decided to release some of his power. As Naruto dropped the center of gravity, everyone was sent smashing into the earth, including the aliens, as they were squashed to nothing but pests when they hit from so far. As Naruto then fly up after igniting his power, people all over the world, magic users, sensed the shift in power as the world was quaking as Naruto released all the shooting balls as it swallowed the ship and just disintegrated the ship, as they were all shocked by that. As Naruto made his way off-world with Starfire, as they made their way towards her planet that was gone. Her sister had betrayed her and killed her parents and her brother and taken over the planet. As she cried, as Naruto held her, after going through something like that as well, losing his planet, because he wasn't able to go back there. He felt some sympathy for the girl. She ended up falling asleep, as Kurama told him that the bastard rat betrayed him. Yes, the Pisions. was someone who experimented on people. So, that rat must have gotten payment for both him and Kurama. The moment Kurama said that, their ship was surrounded by 200 other ships. As Naruto was furious, he hoped that whatever the bastard rat betrayed him for, he was willing to give up his life for that, because Naruto was going to kill him. So yeah guys, so it's basically that's what I thought. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So let's begin this new episode. As Naruto and Kurama were speaking, over a dozen space warp tunnels appear, open up all around their ship. As Naruto radar start to blare, as ships start to emerge, battleship surrounding his own. I hope whatever the Poseidons bribe the rat raid was worth his life, because I'm gonna rip into shreds after I'm done here, he said. As Naruto's voice was not normal, it was dark and demonic as he spoke. The nails of his fingers turned to claws, and if it was not for his masked jutsu that made his hair golden yellow, you would have seen that his hair become blood red compared to the regular strawberry blonde that was there before. As his canine then grew into fang, as his whisker mark got thick and dark under his mask. A beeping sound could be heard as they wanted to speak to him on the transmitter, but Naruto simply rejected. He did not want to hear what they have to say, as he already knew what they're here for. As the ships, they all carry the sign of the Poseidons, and also the Empire as well. They think they can trap and capture us like a beast. Come on, Kurama, it's time we remind the world what happened after you poke a slumbering beast. As the both of them share a fist bump, as they look at each other, both of them wearing a bloodthirsty look on their faces. At the next moment, the both of them teleported out of the ship. Moments later, chaos. Pure utter chaos. Hundreds of laser ships were firing at a large monstrosity. The powerful beam fired off and smashed right into the beast's chest. As the beam even punctured the stratosphere of the planet that they were on, a roar came from the beast that they were firing at, as it burned a patch of his chest. As he got even more angry. This is not right. This isn't in our calculations. Our data was wrong. A frail, green lizard man yelled hysterically. They had not known that the tiny pet of the mercenary they wanted to capture would transform into a world-destroying monster. That missile they just used was the strongest weapon of mass destruction that they could use without damaging their core of the planet that their race was living on. But that weapon that can lay waste to an entire nation had only scraped some skin off the beast's chest. The one that looked like the commander of Lizard Man, he screamed, "Everyone, evacuate the planet now! Prepare the star destroyers and blow up everything to dust! Blow them all up along with the planet!" "But sir, our home and everything we worked so hard for, they will..." The person was cut off as he spoke. As the sky turned black, a spear of purple energy cast over the planet. Boom! A devastating explosion went up. A white light blinded every living being that was there and deafened all of them by the sound. The energy shield that should have been able to stop even a star destroyer was obliterated by the force. 20 ships with the star destroyers on it flew in front of the beast. But despite the destructive weapon they had, all of them trembled towards a deadly beast who stood in front of them. They had never seen anything like that before. Blood red fur and over 1,500 feet in height and over 2,500 feet in length. At its back, 9 tails were creating tornadoes and destroying capitals with one swing of his tail. "Kurama! Sea of flames!" Naruto shouted, as he was on top of Kurama's head, but he was so small he could not be seen from there. As Naruto sat on his knees, both hands pressed down on Kurama, a massive amount of chakra was gathering between the two of them. Kurama then roared as flame came out of his mouth, raining down on everything. All of the ships were reduced to liquid in mere seconds. Flames hotter than the sun melted everything. It was hell, and in the middle of that hell, demonic laughter shook the skies. Die! Die! Kurama reveled in the field of power, in the slaughter. Power like he had never wielded back in the elemental nations. A power that was not any lower than a 10-tailed beast. A god. He did not have many opportunities to let loose like this. When Naruto unsealed him from his body, Naruto was in his 40s even though he was immortal. He should be in his 40s right then. It took Naruto nearly 3 decades to learn the arts of Fuinjutsu, so he could fully unseal Kurama, so he would not kill himself in the process. But after 40 years of being sealed inside Naruto, the seal was weakened to the point where Kurama chakra started to leak inside Naruto's body. And that is what happened. That is what gave Naruto his changes. That was also why his blonde hair had become a strawberry blonde. Before unsealing Kurama, the both of them were extremely close. Like they were going to fuse into one single entity. Their power was combined and twined together. When Naruto finally unsealed him, Kurama lost a part of himself in the process. In the present, Kurama could not regenerate his chakra like before, simply by drawing it from the outside world. That's why he became a glutton that would eat 24/7. He converted the physical engine from anything he ate into chakra. That is why he took on the appearance of a tiny fox most of the time, to conserve his energy. But when he put it all together and used the power that he was given, this was a result, a power that far surpassed what his creator, the Seed of Six Paths, had given him. Unlike before, there was no real limit to how much chakra he could store. Theoretically, with enough time and chakra, he could become invincible. He was no longer a demonic fox in the present. He was like a god, a demonic fox god. Prepare one final attack. Destroy their planet, said Naruto. His ruthless words would have struck himself back in the elemental nations. But he was no stranger to the atrocities that this generation, this inhabitants of this planet has committed over the long years. There was not even a single innocent among them. When someone wants to cut the weeds, you have to pull it entirely from the roots to make sure it doesn't regrow. Kurama's evil law subsided. He never lost himself in the lust for carnage and slaughter. He had not forgotten that his current power was because of the chakra that Naruto was pouring into him. A chakra that Naruto absorbed from nature on a planet that was more polluted and infected than the earth. Are you sure, Naruto? He asked as he was worried. Just do it, said Naruto. I'm only acting as a conductor, not the engine. I'm just pouring chakra into you instead of using it myself. The damage this effective chakra engine used to me is not as bad if I was the one to cast jutsus. Despite his words of reassurance, his mask cracked and burst into light. His perfect chakra control was starting to slip up. This planet was really polluted and corrupted, as his red hair came into view, and his face as well. If Kurama saw how Naruto looked at the moment, he'd have stopped his carnage already. Purple black blood was coming from Naruto's mouth, as he had nature engine poisoning, as the left side of his face was already starting to petrified. Kurama knew that he had to do this quickly, so he smashed his fist in the ground and cracked it open. As he opened his mouth and started to form the largest Biju bomb ever, as he fired it into the crack that he had made in the crust of the planet. The chain of reactions that went after that reached the very core of the planet that ripped it apart. Volcanoes started to erupt everywhere, and cracks started to appear everywhere. It was the end of the world. After a few hours, the planet was going to explode from within. Make yourself tiny, Kurama, Naruto said quickly, as the petrifying process was still going on. As Kurama quickly shrunk himself down to the size of a horse. In a yellow flash, the two of them appear right inside their ship, a distance away from the planet. As Kurama then turned, as Naruto's body was petrified. Not all of it. His legs were petrified though. Half of his face were. But Naruto raised his hand and started to write on Kurama's chest. As Kurama got the words, "Don't worry, I'll be okay." As he gave Kurama a thumbs up. "Call Lobo," he write again. "Return favor. Rat bastard. Worship. Earth." As Naruto gave Kurama a thumbs up, that he was right. And after that he fell unconscious. While Naruto was unconscious and Kurama was doing what he was told, the entire place was discussing what was going on. The two have no idea about how far the outrageous amount of power and their ruthless violence went. They were in every discussions for the powerful forces of the galaxy. As many of them were shocked about the prescience, they were one of the oldest races of the universe, almost as old as the Guardians of the Green Lantern Corps who had created them. No one could ever say they did not hear of the prescience and what they have done over the flawless system. However, such an old and technological race had been massacred by a single individual in one day. In the Vega system, the Guardians, they were worrying, as the Prescience had far more technology, superior technology than them, for means of destruction and defense. But they had been eradicated in only one day. Hundreds of thousands of Guardians evacuate their planet, running for their life. As billions of other people in the Vega system was celebrating that the Guardians were running. And also the Prescience who take over the entire system, they were no more. Countless people came out in the street celebrating when they heard that the Prescience were gone. And also, the rulers, Sanagrians, could not keep the smiles off their faces. They have been warned for centuries now with the Guardians, and they were starting to be pushed back Although the Guardians were not destroyed with the Pisions, as the Thinagrians, they were happy same way. Without the Pision technology supported from the back, the Guardians, defeat was only a matter of time. On Earth, Jon Stewart had a look of disbelief on his face when the administrator of the Green Lantern Corps sent him the news. The Pisions had been massacred. An intergalactic mercenary, Naruto Uzumaki, known as the Caterpillar, and his companion Kyuubi, a demon, has destroyed the Pisions planet and the 6 moons that they have colonized. The Guardians have classified the 2 of them as universal threats. All Green Lanterns with information about these 2 are to report back immediately. On New Genesis, High Father and Darkseid, the rulers of the 2 fractions, they were thrown in because of 2 different reasons though. The Vega system was not a place that Darkseid attempted to conquer because he realized the threat of the Psion's technology progress. So he did not like the sudden appearance of this wild and vile dark horse that annihilated the entire race in one day. New Genesis and the Justice League were annoying as they was. He did not like to hear about a new, dangerous power popping up in his plan of world domination. As for High Father, he went into a deep meditation trying to contact the source. He was worried about a powerful character like that being evil. His adopted son Orion, the most valid warrior of the gods from New Genesis, was getting ready to leave their world and make contact with the dangerous mercenary and his beasts to find out their intentions and their thoughts. On the planet Alvarak, a beautiful red-headed woman got up from her throne. She was Maxima, the queen of Alvarak. As emotions flashed in her eyes, anger, fascination, and anger again, she met the mercenary in his fox a few years before. Infatuated with how powerful he was, she tried to kidnap him and make him her husband by force. But not only did he reject her, he even stole one of their most advanced spaceships before exiting the planet. She has not heard anything about him for years, but when she finally heard some news once again, it was about him annihilating the entire planet. Not to mention it was the Psions. Her infatuation levels skyrocketed here and that. Flushed with desire, she immediately told her subordinates to search for his whereabouts. She was definitely going to hunt him down and make him her husband. Lastly, a yellow power ring from the antimatter universe. It was making its way. Its destination was precise: the Earth, in the Solar System, Milky Way galaxy. Its target, the Kyuubi, the 9-tailed demonic god. Time skip. Yes, a burrito with extra cheese. Yes, the top floor. The name is Diana Prince. Placing her smartphone on the coffee table, Wonder Woman started to dry out her hair. She had just come out of the shower, proof of that showing that there was only a white towel wrapped around her torso. A few minutes later, the bell door rang. As she placed on the towel that she was using to dry her hair, as she made her way towards the door. "Good evening, ma'am. Here's your..." Delivery boy words died in his throat. "Good evening. Is there a problem?" she asked, completely oblivious. No, he said, his face almost turning completely red, as he was looking at the wonderful sight in front of him. Long, black wet hair, not to mention that towel that hugged her body nice and tight, and a figure that most models will be jealous of. In truth, the costume that she wear fighting daily did not cover most, but just seeing her in that towel, it just... Until the very end of the transaction, delivery boy fumbled all around. He almost dropped the package as he took the money and started to walk off, forgetting. As he turned back to give her the change. "It's alright," she said with a giggle. "You can keep the change." "Thank you, and have a nice evening," she said as she waved goodbye. She may have been oblivious in the first few seconds, but she was not stupid. She realized why he was embarrassed. After starting to live as Diana Prince amongst regular people, she started to understand how vague her physical appearance were on most men. What I don't get is why almost everyone act like that when I'm Diana Prince, but no one shows any reaction towards Wonder Woman, she thought. Dozen men have tried to hit on Diana Prince, but they don't seem to like Wonder Woman as a woman. Maybe it's because Wonder Woman looks like an untouchable being, powerful and dangerous, while Diana Prince is a normal, attractive, rich human girl. Well, she didn't know that most men was obsessed with her hero persona. It's just that they were scared. It would be scared to approach a woman that can literally bend iron, steel with her bare hands, and crush cars like they were pebbles. If she browsed the internet just by typing Wonder Woman in the search bar, she would have seen how different the situation was. But she never done that. She never saw the hundreds of blogs dedicated to worshipping Wonder Woman, or the website like Rule 34. She came back to the living room as she sat down, as she turned on the TV. As she opened the paper bag and grabbed a burrito, she took a very huge, unlady bite, as a look of bliss appeared on her face. As the TV started to play, A huge ship appeared above the city. She changed the channel. Everyone is asking the question, who is the new hero? She changed the channel once again. The Justice League had yet to release a statement to the previous incident, so we do not know what happened. Nonsense, one of the hosts said on TV. It's as clear as day he's a hero. Everyone saw and heard that hologram of the spaceship commander. Those alien freaks have destroyed the entire city. They did not get their prisoner. This new hero saved millions of people in Jump City that night, and with no collateral damage. If that ain't what being a hero means, then I don't know. She changed the channel once again, as it was a music channel this time. A large group of women dressed in bikinis were dancing on the beach while two men were singing. As the two men were singing about bitches ain't shit, as she threw the remote, as it crashed right into the TV, breaking it. She couldn't understand. Why would those girls like that kind of music? Man, all men are the same, she said in anger. As she released her breath, no, there are good men amongst people too, she said, as she calmed herself down. It had been 1 year since she come to the Justice League world, and she had seen that not all men was bad. At least not all was bad as she was taught to believe. There were also brave, honest, and self-sacrificing characters amongst them. As she sighed, the entire world was currently in an uproar after what happened. The videos did not contain the scenes of Naruto clashing with Justice League, but it did contain the scenes of Naruto flying up in the sky like an angel and one attack annihilating the ship. In the general population eyes, he was a new hero, but they had no idea that he fought against the Justice League first. That said, the entire Justice League was rattled by the incident. Batman was in his back cave, and he hasn't spoke to anyone since. John Stewart was summoned towards Green Lantern Corps in urgent matters, and Wonder Woman just stayed inside, as she was eating junk food all day, hiding from the crazy reporters. The rest of the Justice League did the same too, as most of them realized a great gap in the power. Even Wonder Woman herself started to question her abilities. At what use she had trained for thousands of years as an Amazon, when someone could literally obliterate a ship by just snapping his finger. But she was stopped from that thought when the doorbell rang. It was already past 10 PM, it was night. Furthermore, she didn't really have any real social life, aside the Justice League, and if they wanted to contact her, Martian Manhunter would have done it through their comms or even telepathy. As she looked through the door peephole, she was surprised. Mother? Long blonde hair, blue eyes, and wearing a white robe. It was the Queen of the Amazon. Wonder Woman mother, Hippolyta. We haven't seen each other in so long. Don't I get a hug from my daughter? Hippolyta asked. Wonder Woman embraced her mother tightly as she took her hand in hers after she break the hug. What brings you here? Does a mother need a reason to visit her child? Hippolyta asked teasingly. You never visited me before, and I... Wonder Woman trailed off. For a little while, mother and daughter became silent. Due to their loss as the queens of the Amazons, Hippolyta had to exile her own daughter, even though she broke in those laws to save their life. Because of that, she could not visit her mother and her fellow Amazon sisters even if she wanted. Yesterday night, while I was in meditation, I sensed an incredible magic power. It was like the power of a god. I have come to the man's world because I was worried about you. We met a very powerful foe, the strongest we've ever faced. He defeated the entire Justice League effortlessly. We could not defeat him. If he was evil, I don't know how many of us would have been alive right now. Hearing Diana's words, Hippolyta took her in her arms and embraced her once again. My little stars and sun, she said lovingly. Mother, said Diana, as she hugged her back. They were warriors, born for battle, but when there was just the two of them alone, they were not. Queens for a warrior, they were just. A mother and daughter who loved each other greatly. It's time I told the truth, something I've hidden from you, since forever. As she took out a pendant from her neck, as she spoke an incantation, the pendant started to glow with dark blue light, covering the entire room in its color. This is a very powerful spell, one that was cast upon this medallion by your father himself. For a short while, no one made to see or hear what is happening in this room. My father, Diana asked. What do you mean? You said that you sculpted me from clay and the gods of Olympus from themselves blessed me with life and their powers. Oh, the god did bless you with their powers after you were born. But they did not give you life, I gave you life, together with your father. Wonder Woman was at a loss, unable to find her words. She was almost 3,000 years old. For 3 millennia, she believed that she was made from clay. That was also why her devotion to the gods were so intense, because she believed that everything she was because of the gods. But no, her mother told her that that was a lie from the beginning. Why did you lie to me? All this time I did to protect you. She was cut off by her mother, to protect you from those who would have wanted to kill you if they had known about your true origins. Who would have wanted to kill me? Who would have been even able to? The Amazons are under the protection of the gods, said Diana. You and I both saw how many protection the gods have gave us When the Amazons were turned to stone, the gods do not care about us that way. They think of us as expendable tools for them to use as they see fit. If we broke, they would just create another set of tools to be used. In front of the gods, mortal mean nothing. Mother, Wonder Woman said. What her mother just said was blasphemy towards the gods. It was the first time Wonder Woman had ever seen her mother speak like that about the gods ever before. Have you ever wondered why the Amazons or punished to guard the gates for eternity? Asked Hippolyta. Was it not because you aided Hades and the Titans in their battles against the god of Olympic? Said Diana. But why would Hades, Zeus' brother, try to plot against him by siding with the Titans? And why would we, the Amazons, support Hades in his rebellion? Do you really think I was so blindly in love with Hades that I just went along with whatever he thought? Without questioning the fate of my people, Hippolyta said. As Diana went silent, so she continued. One day, Hades came home while I was bathing and he joined me in Mother, Diana said. She did not want to hear any details about her mother's sex life, but Hippolyta continued on. Like any other couple, we started to make love. But I noticed the way he was kissing me was different from before. Hades was a very gentle lover, very cautious and concerned of my needs. But that day he was acting strangely, more rougher, dominant, selfish. I did not like it. However, by the time I realized something was terribly wrong, it was too late. He had already spilled his seed inside me, him being such a quick shot and teleported away instantly after that. And my suspicions were confirmed. The man was not Hades, he was someone else. Don't tell me, said Diana. It had been Zeus all along. You know very well the history and how many women he had raped before. In my case, he did not do it openly. He disguised himself as my lover Hades at the time. Naturally, I did not hide what happened from Hades. You can imagine his and my rage at Zeus. But we could not do anything against him. He was the king of gods for a reason. No one could ever defeat him, except for goddess Athena. Maybe, one day. Coincidentally, around that time, the Titans waged war against Olympics. Hades jumped at the chance to get his revenge for what Zeus did. Even though I was angry, I was reluctant to join. I did not want my people to be involved in the war of the gods. But he guilt-tripped me into accepting, saying that I was colluding with Zeus behind his back. Zeus forced himself on me that day. It changed him. He became more angry, quick to explode. Hades became very different from the man I once fallen in love with. As for the rest, it is as you know it. Titans lost the war, and Hades was exiled to Tartarus, while the Amazons were punished to guard the gate for eternity for siding with him. As a silence followed over the room after that, until Diana spoke. I assumed that Hera would have wanted to kill me if she knew that Zeus had cheated on her again, said Diana. Yes, said Hippolyta. But if Zeus has one quality, is that he cares about his children. Together with great Athena, they made a plan. They gave me a necklace that hid my pregnancy, and they also told me to sculpt the baby out of clay. When it was time for you to be born, they pretended to give life to that clay, knowing that you were the daughter of Zeus and your strength would far exceed that of the Amazons. Great Athena, seal your powers to remove Hera becoming any suspicious. Goddess Athena organized a birthday party for the newborn you, where she invited the gods to bless you. Goddess Athena blessed you with her wisdom. Goddess Demeter blessed you with her strength. Goddess Aphrodite blessed you with her beauty. God Hermes blessed you with his ability of flight and speed. Goddess Artemis blessed you to have unity with nature and wild beasts, and an affinity to fire. Goddess Hesta blessed you with the power to discern the truth, and now the truth shall set you free. You are Diana, the princess of the Amazons, the daughter of Queen Hippolyta, and the king of God, Zeus. The sounds of chains could be heard was snap, and an aura of power exploded out of Diana's body. Had it not been for the powerful medallion that Zeus has enchanted, the entire room would have been blown to pieces. The spell would not hold on for too long, Diana. Where are your braces? Put them on immediately. Though confused by her mother's words and the changes that were going on to her body, Diana made her way to her room where she could get the bracelets. No, don't move away from this spell form. Tell me where they are so I can get them, Hippolyta said. Hippolyta then returned the bracelets of submission and gave them to her daughter, after she put them on her wrists. Unless it's a matter of death, like it was 2 days ago, never take this off. They will continue to suppress and hide your true nature of powers as long as you wear them. Never tell of your identity to anyone unless you have a choice. The moment you take them off, the gods will take notice of you, and Hera will learn of your identity as well. A angry and jealous Hera is no less dangerous than her enraged husband. As Hippolyta then pulled her clothes and hugged her tightly. I'm sorry, I had to hide this from you for so long. If I hadn't been afraid that I was going to lose you, I would have never told you the truth. I never cared about how powerful you could be while you were at my side. All I wanted was for you to be happy, to be safe and feel loved. As Diana could feel her mother's tears wetting the coat of her neck. She had never seen her mother cry like this, as vulnerable like this before. As Hippolyta breathed the hug and cuffed her daughter's cheek. As they looked at each other. Even though Zeus forced himself on me, I never regret giving you birth, Diana. I swear this on the river Styx. You are my latest stars and sun. You are the joy of my life, my beloved daughter. Never think otherwise. As Diana leaned in as she was crying, as she hugged her mother tightly. Though her heart was shaken by this revelation, the love and respect she had for her mother, it just increased. That night, Hippolyta did not return to the island of paradise. That night, the 3,000-year-old woman that was strong and powerful slept like a little girl curled up in her mother's embrace. As Hippolyta stayed awake for a long time, watching her daughter sleep. Time skip. What is this? As the powerful being was shaken, a man who went up against a god was frozen. As darkness gripped around his heart. The place was dark. It was a void in front of him. Snapping out of his trance-like state, as he grabbed onto the control of the ships, as he tried to steer the ship away manually. He pressed on several buttons of the ships as the ship blasted away at full power. But for all of his efforts, the ship just started to shake violently before boom, one of the engines exploded. Kurama! At the call, his body became cloaked in the red and yellow light as he sank down low before launching himself up as he broke through the top of the ship straight into outer space. Now blasted, crimson red chakra burst from his feet, enveloping the spaceship down below. A violent explosion happened when the ship blew up, throwing his body backwards as it was pushing him away from the grip of darkness that was holding on to him. But there was no sign of relief on his face. He was still trapped in endless darkness. A tail beast bomb started to take form in his hand until it was the size of a football, but he did not throw it. Where could he have thrown it to? For millions of miles, there was nothing around him. He pressed against the tail beast bomb. As it blew up, the violent explosion sent him sailing away. It was almost like a nuclear blast. In the vacuum of space, those two explosions hurled him almost a million miles away from where he was at first. But it was not enough. It was still not enough. He felt like no matter how far he flew, he would not be able to escape this eternal darkness. That strange feeling that grabbed a hold of him. A shadow clone appeared behind him and created a tail beast bomb and detonated as the explosion threw him back once again. As he created more shadow clones, the ever darkness of the space started to get lighted up with the explosions as he was thrown back faster and faster. The repeated shockwaves were pulverizing him of his organs as he started to cough up blood. But after so much explosion of tail beast bombs, his body was moving through the vacuum of space at the speed of light. It was a speed that no one could ever reach without a supernatural force protecting them. With his body wrapped in the yellow and red chakra, he looked like a comet as he flew. But finally he could feel it, that hold on him that was pulling him towards darkness. It was getting weaker and weaker. He was not far from his salvation. Naruto jumped out of bed as he woke up. As he didn't fully get up, if half of his body was not petrified, he would have jumped up to his feet. In his condition, he could only grab onto the bed sheet with his still working hand, as his sheets were soaked with his sweat. Closing his remaining eye, he tried to calm himself down. His heart was beating fast, like it wanted to jump right out of his chest. Years has passed since he had a nightmare, but it was not just a mere dream. Naruto has done 3,381 missions. Out of that, he has completed 3,380. That one that he failed, that was the one that changed everything. A supermassive black hole located far from the 3,600 sectors of the universe. That was the closest he ever came to dying that day. It was the most terrified he was. It was a fear that did not make sense because normally, Naruto was not afraid of death. But it was beyond his understanding. Something that he couldn't really comprehend at the moment. He had spent 1 hour at the gravitational pulse of the black hole, and it was 50 years outside. He had completed his bounty before the supermassive black hole grabbed a hold of his ship. So when he returned to find out the person that sent him on that mission, the person had long since aged and died of old age. It was a surprise to him, and it was from then that his body became unaging. He became immortal. He searched about information about the black hole. After surviving that incident, in this wide universe, there's also been other people that stepped beyond the black hole and survived it. But he never heard of someone becoming immortal because of it. He has also never heard of a black hole that size before. The largest one was the size of a planetary system. To this day, he was convinced that it was not anything natural. Someone must have created that thing somehow. To this day, the reason why he keep on saying void as that, because he was scared of it. That unending, deepless darkness, that fear, it has stick with him. Old gods, new gods, what a joke. Who dared to call himself a god in front of the void? You're weak, a voice said, as he felt a cool cloth wiping the unpetrified part of his forehead. He opened his eye, as he saw it was Korandara. A worried look could be seen in her eyes. Are you okay? She asked. But she realized how stupid her question sounded, given that he could not talk and half of his body had turned into stone. So she added, will you recover from this? All he could do was make a thumbs up, because he could not write like what he did with Krama, and he did not know her language. No, this is weird, she said, as she brought her face close and sniffed. Your bed and your clothes are wet because of how much you sweat, but it does not smell. If he had not been petrified, he would have chuckled at her antics. This girl is not right in the head, he thought, inwardly amused. She took his arm, as she gave it a gentle squeeze as she bowed her head. I was scared and confused at first, because I suspected the worst when you sent my parents, sent you to rescue me. I mean, they've been dead for years. I thought you were trying to trick me. But I want to thank you, you killed my captors. Your fox friend told me that you even killed the Poseidons, who experimented on me for years. I have edged this gratitude deep in my heart. No matter when or where, I will always repay you for it. Thank you, she said, as he removed his hand and placed on her head. She did not know why, but his arm felt like he was gone through things. A lot of things through probably centuries upon centuries. As it felt tough and callous. It felt like when her parents used to rough her hair when she was younger. As she leaned into the touch, it felt so comforting and gentle and nice. But his hand then slumped back down. As he was still tired, he fell asleep. Time skip. A small planet could be seen in the distance. Having bypassed Mars a few minutes ago, the Earth was probably 20 million miles away or so. Ever since he woke up, Korandara has tried to talk with the owners of the ship. But the man was in a terrible state as he was bedridden, and the talking fox was in a bad mood as well. Any attempt of her starting a conversation was shot down with a growl from him. So after the third time, she decided to stay silent. Nonetheless, the ship destination was of great importance to her, since she was on board as well. When she realized they were on their way back to Earth, she could not hold in her doubts. Why are we going back to Earth? She said. Last time we were there, they fought against me, and they fought against your master too. They're not friendly. Krama growled. Naruto is not my master. He's my brother, he said. I'm sorry for my wrong beliefs. Don't be angry at me. Please, she said, as she heard the anger in his voice. He let out a low growl. I'm not angry at you, but I will get pissed if you don't be quiet. We're going to Earth for asylum. They're not bad people, they're just morons. But because they're morons, they will protect us from others. Now, keep quiet as we go there, please. As she went quiet, as she wondered why the fox was so mean and angry at her all the time. Does he hate me? Or maybe he hates everyone. Or probably he's just stressed because of the condition that his brother's in. Krama was indeed stressed out and angry because of the condition that Naruto's in, but that was not the entire reason. The main reason for his bad mood was the amount of natural energy that Naruto absorbed, while he himself did not get ill from the amount of nature energy that Naruto pumped into him. It certainly amplified his rage and violent tendencies. After all, it was a lot. Enough to make him destroy an entire planet. He even became stronger than 10-tailed beast, his progenitor, a god. But in comparison to the Jobi, who was a mindless beast, Krama was handling his power much better. And he had absorbed so much chakra, he became a planet-busting behemoth. He had to keep himself calm and controlled, to control his emotions. But Korandara, questioning him with all these questions, was making him angry. So that's why he had to, snap at her. As they were close to the planet, Krama spoke. Activate stealth mode, he said. Roger. Stealth mode will be activated in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stealth mode activated. Based on the remaining fuel, stealth mode can be sustained for 20 minutes, the AI voice said, as the ship became invisible. It was a perfect camouflage technique. That is how they bypass the watchtower sensors and everything. As he was about to enter Earth, but then a bright yellow light appeared right in front of it. As Krama turned the ship away, dodging the yellow light. But the yellow light turned and targeted the ship again, like a homing missile. This time it was impossible to dodge it, but Krama did not give up. One of his tails elongated and pressed the red button. Engine shield deployed. Shield capacity 100%. Stealth mode deactivated, the AI said. The Fox growled in annoyance, as the Watchtower would know that they were on Earth, but it was better than being blown up by this yellow light. But the Kurama shot the yellow light passed right through the barrier around it, and passed right through the ship and entered inside, as it entered right towards Kurama. What the hell? Kurama said. It was a power ring. A yellow power ring belonged to Yellow Lantern Corps. It was led by Sinestro. As Kurama had heard about them in the past, the yellow ring got large and went around his right paw and fit around it. An intense yellow light started to envelop his body as Kurama heard a voice coming from it. You have been chosen to wield the yellow power ring, Kyuubi. Nine-tailed demon fox. You will be subjected to psychological and physical reconditioning. You will be transported to all of the rage that Kurama has been storing up. Exploded. Do not screw with me, he said, as red chakra exploded out of his body. Physical reconditioning? You think you can enslave me? You think I will let anyone ever control me again? His entire body became covered in fire. The board of the ship and the supercomputer was melted, and the alarm started to ring. The ship started to shake terribly because the computer that was controlling it was destroyed. As the atmosphere pressure in the ship started to decrease, everything started to go offline. As the ship started to lose altitude and fall. As the ringing spoke again, conflicted emotions detected: rage, overwhelming fear, target, unfit to. The voice ring was cut off as Kurama smashed his fist together as the yellow power ring was crushed into pieces. As Kurama quickly calmed himself as he tried to grab the control of the ship, but there was no control to grab anymore. The entire board was melted by its flames a few moments before, as the ship caught on fire as they entered the atmosphere. What the hell? One disaster after a goddamn another, said Kurama, as he abandoned any hope of saving the ship, as it was already burned up and the control was gone, and with that the system were shutting down. And they would also probably die if they remained aboard if they collided against the Earth. Not him specifically, but the unconscious Naruto that was half stone, and this girl will die. As he rushed towards Naruto's room as he saw the girl there holding on Naruto's body so he wouldn't smash against the wall. As Kurama extended himself and wrapped two of his tails around him, Kurama smashed his fist against the outer wall of the ship. As he broke through it, pulling the both of them closer, he wrapped them up as he went around like a ball with his nine tails protecting him, with them safely inside. As he started to fall like a meteor. Wait, I can fly, the girl said. As Kurama heard what she said as he unfurled himself, his two tails were still wrapped around the both of them protectively. A bright green light came around her body and her eyes. As she started to struggle. What the hell, woman, Kurama said, you said you can fly. She grabbed one of his large ears as she took in a breath. Make yourself smaller, you're too heavy, she shouted. This brat, he thought to himself. His ear was now ringing. I'll definitely smack her when I get down, he said, as he returned himself to his tiny form as a fox cub. But his tail was still around Naruto as it was still large, as the girl stabilized the both of them in the air easily, and it was extremely cold, as she quickly made her way down to earth. But a large green hand then appeared and stopped them. As Kurama looked up to see 5 people: Green Lantern, Superman, Hawkgirl, Martian Manhunter, and Wonder Woman. The 5 that could fly out of the 7 members of the Justice League. Flashback to earlier. 2 days after what happened, the incident with Jump City, Superman had called all of them, as the mood was a bit strained. Yes, because they had all split up for a while, not really separating. As Superman was about to say something, but Batman beat him to it. I would like to say something before you tell us the reason why you called us here. That entire situation with the mercenary could have been avoided. And it was all my fault. I want to apologize. The 6 of them were stunned, because as long as they know Batman, he never really apologized. So for him to admit that he was wrong, it was a surprise for them. As Superman was the first one to get over his shock. You did nothing wrong, Batman. It was... Please, let me finish, Batman said. The truth is, we didn't need to start a fight against him right away. We could have tried to solve our issues with him in a diplomatic way. He is not the type to not be reasoned with. Quite the opposite, he tried to reason with us and avoid clashing against us. But I let my ego get the better of me, and I endanger you all. I have no excuse for that. I would like to temporarily retire from the Justice League. And he was cut off. Absolutely not. That is exactly the opposite of what we should be doing now. We have faced other powerful aliens before, but we stood united. Together we can overcome them all. If we let one setback break us apart, we would be doomed. Superman is right, Batman, said Wonder Woman. Don't beat yourself too hard. Everyone makes mistakes once in a while. We are a team. We pick each other up from the ground when we fall. Martian Manhunter and Green Lantern nodded as Flash came behind Batman and placed a hand on his shoulder. Flash had expected Batman to growl and get angry for him intervening his personal space, but Batman said nothing. For a moment he was going to ask if he was a real Batman, but he decided not to push his luck. Today, I asked for everyone to be here because I want to talk to you about this. I am thinking about expanding Justice League. At Superman words, all of them focus. Over the past year, we've been through some tough times together. The last incident in particular showed me that Justice League could use more manpower. There are only 7 of us and the Earth is a very big place. And you look like the more our technology advanced, we get into contact with aliens. We have to step up our game. I understand what you mean, but what would the government think about this? And not just the US government, but the United Nations as well. The Justice League becoming too powerful will place a stress on them. Our decision to mass more power could be seen as hostile. As a large ring went off, as they all made their way towards the Central Patrol to find out what was going on. End of a flashback. As they were all there, as Green Lantern was holding up the 3 with the hand that he made from his ring. As they looked at Naruto, as they were shocked. More than half of his body had become a statue, and he take on a toad-like appearance. If it wasn't for the tiny fox lashed down to his waist, and also the red-haired alien girl, they would have not recognized him. Jesus, no wonder he used to wear a mask, Jon Stewart said, as he blurted out, earning a glare from Superman and Hot Girl. He did a fake cough to pass over a moment, as he created that spear, as Krama could feel no negative emotions come from them, so he did not do anything. We don't want to fight, Green Lantern said. I use my power rings so we can isolate ourselves from the wind, so we can talk. Yes, he was right, the roaring wings would have made it impossible for them to talk otherwise. Why have you returned to Earth, and what in the world happened to him, asked Superman. Natural energy poisoning, said Krama. We came back to Earth seeking asylum, said Krama. Why Earth of all the places? Martian Manhunter asked. Before coming to Earth 2 days ago, we had flown through the 3,600 sectors of the universe, and then we flew straight to the Vega system. We didn't have enough fuel to fly to other planets that wasn't being war with others, or a still war at the moment. Earth was the closest. Krama could naturally talk to any sentient beings, regardless of their language, but that was not the case for Korandara. Besides the words that came from Green Lantern, as his power ring had translated, she could not understand Superman, Krama, Martian Manhunter, or anyone else. But knowing Krama's temper, she did not want him to lose it right here. We don't want any trouble. We just need a place to heal and rest out because our ship was destroyed, she said. What is the girl saying, asked Superman as he looked towards Green Lantern. That their ship blew up and they don't want any trouble. I sense a great amount of rage coming from the Fox alien. Stay on your guard, everyone. I would be not surprised if he did not attack, said Martian Manhunter in their mind. The others understood because they knew that they shouldn't be deceived about his tiny appearance. According to the information that Green Lantern shared with them before, that tiny fox became something strong enough to destroy a planet. If we let you come to Earth, what guarantee you have that you won't start killing people left and right? Wonder Woman asked. Diana, Hot Girl said. As Krama looked at her, his appearance became gentle. Wonder Woman has not told anyone that she was a demigoddess. Her power was stronger than before, and including her nature to wild animals that the goddess blessed her with. In addition, Krama did not want to be angry at that moment, but the feeling coming from her calmed him even more. All I want is a place for my brother to recover, he said. I have no intention of causing any trouble. As long as no one disturbs us, you have my word. Do this for us and we will owe you a favor. You should be well aware what someone of our power owing you a favor means. As the Justice League was keenly aware, a favor from them could mean. But all of them were wondering the same thing, can he be trusted? But even though that, they did not want to fight against Sikayube if they denied him. Because they had to think about the dozen of people living down the island down there. And they heard about his power, so they knew they should never underestimate him. As Krama was looking at Wonder Woman, Superman and Martian Manhunter and Green Lantern, they looked at each other as they all nodded. As the Fox was more open to talk to Wonder Woman, so they let her talk. We agreed to grant you asylum on our planet. We hope that you will not break your promise. But first we will take you to the watchtower. Our medical equipment is better. It is not something that medicine and scientists can fix. His condition and my rage are something of a magic nature. But your presence feel calming. It's helping me focus. You feel different than before. As he looked at her more keenly. I'm wearing the bracelets. They're supposed to be hiding my power from the gods. How did he feel it? Hot Girl spoke, a friend of ours, Dr. Fate. He may have a solution for your problem if it's a magical nature. Krama was a bit suspicious of their behavior, but he realized why though. They are scared for the millions of people down below. As he knew that Green Lantern must have heard what happened and told them of his power. As if he knew exactly what Krama was thinking about Green Lantern spoke at that time. We understand how dangerous you are and you don't want to risk a fight that would endanger the civilians' life down below. But even if the Justice League might not be strong enough to stop you, you should know that the Green Lantern Corps certainly is. I will also let you know that you have become a universal level threat, and they have their eyes on you. Green Lantern and Kyubey looked in each other's eyes. Because of his ring and his willpower, he looked into Kurama's eyes and he did not flinch. Just as you said, you don't want any trouble, and we don't want any either. I am telling you this so you know that we do have the ability to fight back. I gave you my word, and I'm not human. I do not lie, said Kurama. Time skip 2 weeks later. As it's been 2 weeks now, as Kurama didn't cause any trouble, as he spent most of his time sleeping, pushing out the negative energy. The Justice League kept their word as well, as Dr. Fate was there, as he just arrived with another blonde-haired girl being there as well. Dr. Fate, you arrived, said Green Lantern, as he then looked towards Superman, raising an eyebrow to ask question what she's doing here. She has been pestering me for the past 2 weeks to take her up to the Watchtower. Meet my cousin, Kara, Ken. Kara, this is John Stewart, a Green Lantern. She was too busy ogling around her surroundings to notice the annoyance in Superman's voice. Nice to meet you, she said, as she took flight and started to fly around. She's quite a handful, said John. You don't know half of it, he said. But despite his words, he smiled at her as she was zooming around with no care in the world. Shall we go, said Dr. Fate, as Dr. Fate was the only one stepped inside, as Superman and Green Lantern waited outside. Cram opened his eyes as he was currently on top of Naruto's chest. Hard to believe a fox like that is as dangerous as you say it is, Supergirl says. She came beside Superman as she looked through the window. That adorable fox can turn into a half-a-man monster and blow up a planet. Appearance can be very deceiving, said Green Lantern. So he's the one who saved me from Argo, she asked. Whoa, are those whiskers? Hey, why didn't you tell me how cute he was? He used to wear a mask. I couldn't see through my x-ray vision. And if you saw him when he came back 2 weeks ago, you wouldn't think that he was cute. He looked like a half-human, half-frog. It's only a few days ago his face returned back to normal. At least what we think is his normal appearance. It was the 5th time that Dr. Fate has been here, as he was sapping away the negative emotion of the natural energy. Right at the moment, only one of Naruto's arms was still petrified. By the way, who's that girl, said Supergirl, as Korandara was in there, as she was pressing on the PSP in her hand. She's the girl that caused that commotion in Jump City 2 weeks ago. The Pazarians have destroyed our home planet. Myself and Wonder Woman are the only ones that can communicate with her. She doesn't know our language, said Green Lantern. Supergirl then grabbed the handle of the door as she was about to go in. Don't go in there, or that fox will beat you up if you barge in. Flash felt that on his own skin. That fox doesn't like anyone except Dr. Fate and Wonder Woman. Huh? I can see why he liked Dr. Fate, he's scaring his friend. But why does he like Wonder Woman? As Green Lantern shrugged. Beats me, something to do with the blessings you receive from the Greek gods, I guess. But I can't help but think that something is different about her these days. You've noticed that, Superman? Or am I overthinking things? Superman nodded. I can't put my finger on it, but I noticed something seemed to be on her mind. There has been some subtle changes in her after the incident. She became more introverted and she talked less, and she always looked like she had something on her mind, and her hero costume has changed as well. Supergirl decided to go over. She knocked on the window as she waved at the girl playing the PSP. As Korandara looked over as the girl was waving her over, so she made her way because the girl looked friendly. Over the past 2 weeks she has been bored here. It was nothing like when she was captured. This was a lot better, but she was cooped up. Leaving her PSP on the sofa, she came out of the room. Hello, I'm Korandara. What's your name? As she raised her hand for a handshake. She's saying that her name is Korandara. And she's asking you, what is your name? Green Lantern explained. As Kara smiled, I'm Kara. Nice to meet you. As she shook her hand. But after a good 5 seconds, the girl did not release Supergirl's hand, so she was confused. Until she was pulled forward. What? She couldn't even finish as Korandara kissed her on the lips. Supergirl quickly backed away. Her cheeks were burning red, her eyes wide. Did I startle you? I'm sorry. My people have the ability to learn any language through the act of kissing. You stole my first kiss, Supergirl said. You look rattled. Perhaps it felt bad. I quite enjoyed it though. Your lips are very soft and they taste sweet. Did you eat strawberry before? Korandara said, as Supergirl buried her face in her palms. As Superman and Green Lantern were shocked. They did not expect something like that. Time skip. You really helped me out a lot, Dr. Fate, said Naruto. Without your help, it would have taken me 2 months to recover. I did it for the people of Earth. If it is my powers, I will let peace preserve. As Naruto sighed at the man's words. You guys are treating us like taking bombs. You know, I would never hurt innocents. You mean to say there was no innocence on the planet that you and your fox have destroyed? As Krama growled as he was sitting on Naruto's shoulder, I have no regrets about annihilating the Poseidons. There were no children or innocents amongst them. But guys, if you insubscribe right here, if once next part, if you know what to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notifications they posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. But I'm off for now. See you guys soon. Peace.